At the European Political Community Summit in the UK, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky did not hold back in his speech, sharply criticizing attempts to negotiate with Moscow behind Ukraine's back. His remarks were clearly directed at Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban, who recently met with Russian President Vladimir Putin on a so-called peace mission. Zelensky denounced these back-channel efforts and took it a step further by suggesting that NATO and the EU should address European issues without involving Orban. This bold proposal underscores the increasing tensions and divisions within the European political landscape.
Everyone chooses for themselves how to act, of course, and what legacy to leave. But if someone in Europe tries to resolve issues behind others' backs or even at the expense of someone else, if someone wants to make some trips to the capital of war to talk and perhaps promise something against our common interests or at the expense of Ukraine or other countries, then why should we consider such a person? The EU and NATO can also address all their issues without this one individual.
Zelensky's remarks were made during a summit at Blenheim Palace in Britain, where he urged European leaders to maintain a unified front in support of Ukraine amidst its ongoing conflict with Russia. He also thanked his Western partners for lifting weapons usage restrictions. His call for solidarity came in the wake of Orban's controversial visit to Moscow on July 5th, which the Hungarian leader described as a peace mission related to the Ukraine war and included stops in Kiev, Beijing, and a meeting with former US President Donald Trump.
We have stopped the Russian advance on Kharkiv. Period. Putin has sacrificed tens of thousands of his citizens, but has achieved nothing significant. This was made possible by the bravery of our warriors and the bravery of our partners, who have lifted limitations on the use of Western weapons along our border.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky called for a more aggressive military stance to counter Russian aggression. Zelensky emphasized the importance of utilizing Ukraine's air defense systems and diplomatic efforts to bring the conflict to a just conclusion. He also specifically highlighted the necessity of targeting military airfields and missile launch sites.
We can steer this war towards its just ending with the power of our weapons and our diplomacy, and we should not fear these capabilities. The more effective our air defense is, the more helpless Putin will be. The fewer restrictions we have on the use of effective weapons, the more Russia will seek peace. Military airfields from which Russian jets take off with bombs against our cities, our people, our children, and the launch sites of Russian missiles, all these must be destroyed. This will not only eliminate some targets, but will also reduce Russia's capability to continue this war. The missiles and drones are not bearers of state sovereignty.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky also urged leaders worldwide, especially those from the United States, UK, France, Germany, Poland, and other allies, to demonstrate the necessary bravery to take decisive steps for peace. Additionally, Zelensky thanked those who firmly support Ukraine's path to NATO membership. While acknowledging that Ukraine's NATO membership has not yet garnered unanimous support among all 32 NATO states, Zelensky emphasized that the complete elimination of Europe's security deficit through Ukraine's accession to NATO has become an irreversible goal.
I appeal to all of you, to all leaders who can contribute to the required bravery these steps must be taken. And I address primarily United States, UK, France, Germany, Poland, and other friends. Your bravery can be decisive for peace. And third, diplomacy. Everything that adds to our collective strength is useful for bringing peace closer. And I thank all of you for supporting the opening of negotiations for Ukraine's membership in EU. And I also want to thank those of you who firmly support Ukraine on its path to NATO. Although the Ukraine's membership has not yet united all 32 NATO states, we have achieved that the complete elimination of this security deficit in Europe through Ukraine's accession to NATO has become irreversible.
Upon his arrival at Blenheim, Orban told reporters, "We are with you," in reference to Ukraine. However, he added, "It is impossible to find a solution on the battlefield," signaling his belief in a diplomatic resolution. The European political community gathering took place during what Zelensky described as a tough period for Ukraine in its fight against Russian forces. The summit highlighted European concerns about the potential impact of Donald Trump's bid to replace US President Joe Biden, with fears that Trump could withdraw Washington's support for Ukraine if elected. Beyond the summit, Zelensky announced plans for separate discussions with Britain's new Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, and a meeting with King Charles III.